Hello everyone, Elias5891 here with another KTANE module tutorial, jumping right into this one. This time we're covering rhythms. This is one I have a little trouble with, so bear with me. This may not be the cleanest explanation I've ever given, but I will certainly give it my try for you. The idea of this one is, as the diffuser, you have a blinking light, one of 4 colors, one of 7 rhythms, and you have 4 buttons you can push: a quarter note, an eighth note, beamed eighth notes, and beamed 16th notes. And you'll always have those 4 buttons in some ordering on your module. The idea as the diffuser is to get across to the expert which rhythm is flashing. There's a couple different ways I've seen people do it. Some people like to try to actually make noises to simulate it in case their expert's a little better at reading music. So for this blue one here, maybe I might go da 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 da, so that they know kind of the rhythm. And it's once you've watched it go by once or twice, you can usually figure out maybe not necessarily the starting point as the manual has it, but some sort of starting point. But this one, dun 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 dun. The way you have that dun 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 dun, kind of 3 notes, really quick at the same short speed, and then something else tells you that there's a triplet in it. This is a triplet. This one's got 6 notes total to it in the rhythm, for 6 flashes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm kind of highlighting this one because of these, this is the only one that's got 6 flashes, 6 notes in the rhythm. So this is the rhythm that's currently flashing, and we'll go a little bit more into detail on these rhythms in just a second. So as the diffuser, you communicate somehow that that's the rhythm. Maybe you'd make it music like I did, try to make sounds to simulate it. Maybe you've learned this well enough you can say it's the 4th rhythm. Maybe you see it well enough to go, okay, it's a triplet, a longer note, a short note, longer note, back to the triplet. All of those ways are valid. As a diffuser expert team, you're going to have to figure out what level of comfort you are with notes to figure out which way works best for you. Like I say, we'll go a little more into detail on these specific rhythms in a moment. But the way you would actually disarm this module, notice my intersection here has 2 commands. It has the 8th note with a P and a beamed 8th notes with a P. That tells you how many tones you have to hold it for, or P means just immediately release. So this would be a 8th note press, beamed 8th notes press. So that would be 8th note press, beamed 8th notes pressed. And that's disarmed. Stops flashing, everybody's happy. Now for some of them, it gets a little trickier. Let's look at this one for example. This yellow one's flashing. Dun 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 dun. You've got that sort of 3 quick again, so we know it's something with a triplet. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But this is 5 in a loop. That's 6 in a loop. That's technically 8 in a loop, but it's 2 of the same loop, so it's really 4 in the loop. So this is the one we're looking at this time. And it's yellow. And you'll notice yellow has a little asterisk here. Yellow has a special rule. For every lit indicator on the bomb, which we have 1, we're going to add 1 to the number of beeps we hold it for. So instructions say beamed 8th note for 2, 8th note for 0 for press. So we're going to add 1 to that. That's going to make it beamed 8th for 3, 8th for 1. So beamed 8th note for 3, 8th for 1. So that's going to be 3 beeps, and then 1 beep. Disarmed. Third one, beep, 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 beep. Perfectly consistent. That's this one here at the bottom. That's this one down here. You'll notice this one also has a special rule in this column for the 1 asterisk. Use the first button in place of the second if there's more than 1 battery. So instead of doing first command, second command, we're going to do first command twice. In this case, it doesn't matter because they're the same. It's 8th note press, but again, it's also yellow, so we add 1 for each of the lit indicators. So this is going to be 8th on 1, 8th for 1. 1, 1. Now this is tricky. Let's look. Yeah, this is very tricky. So let's take a little bit closer look at the rhythms and what the musical notes mean. That kind of throws off the graph, but that's okay. We can see the rhythms, which is the point. Now, on the next page, it does have musical note references. You've got half notes, which last 2 beats. Quarter notes, which last 1 beat. Eighth notes are half that speed. They go half a beat. 16th notes are even faster. They go quarter beat. Beamed eighth notes are just 2 eighth notes. Likewise, an eighth note trip, or likewise beamed 16th notes, just 2 16th notes back to back. You've got the eighth note triplet, which is a third of a beat each, which is a little tricky to get. These 3. It's called an eighth note because it looks like an eighth note, but it's really not quite an eighth note. And you've got dotted quarter note. You can actually dot any note. It just increases it by 50%. So it changes a quarter note from 1 beat to 1.5 beats. Adds an extra half in there. Now, do you need to know all of this? No. But it gives you an idea of how long these last. For example, if I look at this one, I've got half note, quarter note, eighth, eighth. So the half note's going to last for 2 beats, the quarter note for 1, and these for half each. So if I get a kind of a consistent rhythm beat going, do 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 dun 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 dun. Once you kind of have a consistent rhythm going, you can count off the beats. So I've got beats kind of ticking in my head, going tick 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 tick. So my rhythm is 2 beats, 1 beat, half beat, half beat. So it'd be tick 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 tick, half, quarter, 8 8 half, quarter, 8 8 half, quarter, 8 8. And that's a way you could denote that rhythm. That's kind of what that one's going to look like. Now I could sit here and try to do musical things with my vocals. I suck at it. What I can give you is A, we're going to look at all of these on a bomb, and B, because I think it's helpful, I'm also going to play each of these as an audio tune so you can kind of hear what it sounds like. I'll put some links if you want to jump ahead to one or the other. We'll do the audio first, then we'll do the visual. So for the audio, let's mute the game for a moment. I'm going to play each one 4 times, kind of going up in an octave every time I loop it, so you can tell where the loop actually starts. Keep in mind on this module, though, you don't really know where it loops, so that can be a little trickier to pinpoint. Alright, you'll see here actually I have some sheet music up. It's going to kind of glow as it goes across. I'm alternating between a glockenspiel and piano for the instrument, so it's a little easier to tell. And there's kind of a drum beat in the background, working as sort of a metronome, so you can kind of hear the beat and see how they kind of flow against a consistent timer. Music lovers, you'll notice I have it at 98 beats per second. I think that's roughly what the module runs at. It seems to be a little, that plus or minus like 5 or so. But we'll go ahead and play these. It's going to start with this first one here. This is how it sounds, and I'll mark them as it goes. Okay, second one. Next one. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. and number 7. And that's your 7 rhythms audio. So you can kind of hear them, and you can see them here on the notes. Now I'm going to hop back into the game, and we're going to look at each of them as they flash. Alright, here we have the first of the rhythms. Do 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 do. That one here. Here you'll see the second one. Long. Hmm 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 hmm. So there's your start with the half, quarter, eighths, half, quarter, eighths. Here in red we have the third one. Dun dun dun. Start. Cycle. Here's the fourth rhythm here. There. It started. Right at the end of that 4 beep there. Here we have the fifth rhythm, this one. Start. Quarter da da dun 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 dun. Here's the tricky sixth one, which actually looks very similar to the one before it, keeping in mind that you don't have any sort of indication when it loops. You've got the same quarter note, half note. Then the question is it a triple or 2/8? In this case, if you look carefully, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see there's 4 blinks, which means it has to be this one instead of the 3 blinks together of this one. And the best rhythm, in my opinion, is the 4 of the same note, so it's just a constant metronome, perfect, balanced, patterned rhythm. So those are all of the rhythms that you might see. Now that you have a chance to see them, admittedly the hardest part of this is conveying the rhythms. So let's give you 2 different challenges. The first is, I'll leave this on screen, you see if you can figure out which of the rhythms this one is. And then, after we've done that with this one and the 2 on the other side, we will go over how you would input those as an answer, because we haven't covered that as much. So there's your first rhythm, the red one. Then on the other side, you have 2 green ones. And it's very distracting seeing both of them at the same time. So let's zoom in on this one. And this one. Alright, give you a second, think about it, and let's discuss. For this one, our red one here is sequence number 5. And on the other side, this up here is going to be sequence 4. There's your triple. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's your triple. Easy to find that. And right below it, this last one, is this one here. So knowing 5, 4, 3 is the red one, the first green, the second green. Let's actually do them, solve them. Let's put this screen back to a slightly more normal size. For the red one, which was rhythm 5 here, it is beamed 16th note, press, beamed 8th note, press. So we'd tell that to our diffuser. Beamed 16th, touch, beamed 8th, click. Done. For the green one, we had, there we go, rhythm 4 here first. So that's beamed 16th for 1, beamed 16th click. So we're going to hold it for 1 beep, and then we're going to click it again. There we go. And for the third one, which was rhythm number 3 here, it's quarter note press, beamed 16th note press. So quarter note press, beamed 16th. Thanks, alarm clock. That's one way to silence it. This is one that I strongly suggest you practice on because it's tricky. It's very, very tricky. One last thing I do want to show about this before we wrap up, and I know this is getting a little lengthy and I apologize, is it has something called Colorblind Mode. Let's take a look at that. And we'll take a look at this. The way you get to this is actually if you go here to your menu and then click Show Mod Settings Folder. What that's going to do is pull up this. It's going to pull up a folder, one of the files of which is rhythms. Let me pull it back up again. It is called Music Rhythms Settings. This is what that file looks like, and you'll notice it has Colorblind Mode, which if you set it to true, well, let's just see what it does. When you have Colorblind Mode on, it prints the names of the colors that are flashing. Very basic, but it makes this module possible for those who are colorblind. There's a ton of modules that have a color dependency. This is the first one I've seen that takes this extra step to really make sure that it's accessible to everyone. So I appreciate that from this module. But that's it for me. That's it for this one. This is one I definitely suggest practicing, and practicing a lot. It's one that I personally am going to practice more myself. It takes some getting used to. And if you're not musically inclined, and to be honest, I'm really not, then it can be even trickier. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Any comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, leave them down below. As always, until next time, have fun and don't explode. Bye, guys.